Hi everyone, welcome back to Living Even Keeled. My name is Patricia and I went to the dentist this morning. I probably should not be filming this video, but I have a great idea that I just want to share with you. I'm still a little numb, so you might think I'm talking strange or my mouth looks a little funny. I can't get my words quite right and I feel really swollen, but we're gonna go on anyway. We're all friends here anyway, right? So tax season just ended. This is the time of year where I go into my paper files and I sort of declutter a little bit, weed it out, and I thought I would share my system with you. I have already shared my paper system with you once in the past, and this is sort of like an update. I will tell you that nothing has changed. For the most part, everything's exactly the same as it was all those years ago. So part of being a home manager and a homemaker is keeping track of those important documents for everyone who lives in your home, from birth certificates to marriage certificates, the house deed, medical info. So here's how I am able to find what I need every time and not have to go shuffling through papers. So first of all, for my girls, my two daughters, they each have an accordion file folder type of thing. I use a piece of washi tape so I have their name across the front. So the categories I have for my girls are official documents, appointment records, and then I have something called discharge info from when they were born. Probably need to take a look at that. And I also have labor and delivery. For official documents, I have their birth certificate, their social security card, their immunization card, and things like that. Appointment records are just as it is. And then discharge info is mostly stuff on immunizations. I didn't want to keep that. Literature just telling me what each thing was, how they did on their APGAR test and the hearing test. They're still very young, they're 3 and 5, so I'm sure at one point these papers won't be as important, but for me, for now, I'm still liking to hold on to them. So the one thing that I might consider changing in theirs is adding a section for specifically the dentist and any other specialist doctors that we might have in the future. So right now I just have appointment records, and so that's just the regular doctor, but they go to the dentist now, and it might be nice to have a place to put those things too. They'll go in the appointment records, but I can imagine that one category getting really full, and then I won't need labor and delivery and discharge info for very much longer. So maybe those two things will change in the future for dentist or maybe vision or something like that. So far we don't have any school records. Now, if there are some things that I need to keep for school, I have plenty of extra space in those dividers. You know, like I said, those last two aren't really being utilized correctly, so I could make one of those specifically for school, but I don't plan to keep any like keepsakes in here. This is just important documents. Any artwork or things I want to keep, I'll have another totally different system for that type of stuff. So these are streamlined. They're narrow enough. Whenever we have an appointment, I can just grab this and run to the car, or, you know, do it the night before, open it up, get the immunization card, and never have to worry about that anymore. So the second thing that I use, I showed this in the first video too, is this carry-all tote, and I have washi tape here, and it's just called House Files. So I can carry it around with me. I don't ever really do that. So here are my categories, and here I just have hanging file folders. I'll show you the back so you can't see everything. So I just have hanging file folders, and they're all labeled, and I'll tell you what I use. And then I have these little regular file folders inside, like subcategorized. So this one's called Home. Under the Home, I have a folder for our mortgage stuff. So what bank we go to, how much we put down, what our mortgage costs, the interest, all that info. I have our homeowner's insurance info, like our policy information, things like that. And then I have a folder that's my address, and under there I put mostly the stuff for the association, a little bit of the deed for the home, things like that. And then I have a folder for my previous address, and I'm just keeping a copy of our previous rental agreement. I don't think I'm going to need that again, but I've always kept one previous rental agreements because whenever you go to get a new rental, they want to know about your past rental experience. And so it's kind of an old habit. Now that we're homeowners, I probably don't need that, but you never know what the future holds, so I am just keeping a copy of only our last rental agreement. The next hanging file folder is called Utilities, and it's almost empty because I do all of my bills e-bills, but I do have just one single page document for many of my utilities that has my account information on there, just in case I were to lose it and be logged out, can't get my password because I don't memorize any of those things. The next hanging file folder is called Car. So for Car, we have a folder for our insurance and our AAA, roadside assistance. And then we have one that has the name of our cars. And under there, we keep things, any sort of maintenance we've done, the last time we got tires. We don't keep all the receipts because those are so thick. Like when you go get your oil change, they give you like 6-page paperwork. It's like, what is all this info? But I do keep a few of those just to keep up to date, to know what I did to my car the last time I did it. We purchased our car used from Enterprise. It was actually a rental car previously, and so we have some of that info on what's covered and the warranties and things like that. The next hanging file folder is called Official Records, and just like utilities, it's almost empty. Under Official Records, I have our marriage certificate, my birth certificate, my baptism certificate, immunization cards for both my husband and I. We even have some voter registration info under there. My next hanging file folder is called Insurance Info, or Health Insurance. And so under Health Insurance, I have the name of our health insurance and the huge thick policy book. Again, probably don't need it, but I'm keeping it. I have space for it and I'm not sure, so better safe than sorry. And then we have a folder called Past Coverage, because we've had so many different types of insurance and it's never very easy because my husband doesn't have a typical job. We have to sort of purchase our insurance from a marketplace, or get it outright from whatever state, when we did this in California or here in Ohio. And so it's nice to have a little bit of the past. We don't have a lot. It's a pretty thin folder, you can see here, but just who we went with and what it entailed. Now, I'm a big believer in getting rid of most of your product manuals. So why do I have one here that says product info and the folder inside is labeled manuals? Well, these are for things that I often think we might either sell, and I mentioned that in the past, either sell or that I couldn't find online, or that I think the person who purchases home after us might appreciate. So we have some info on the ceiling fans. We have info on our Vitamix, some pieces of equipment for my husband's home gym. And then we really don't need the info on the stroller, but whenever I sold in the past my baby stuff on like a Facebook marketplace, if I could provide the original box, which was rare, but the product info, I think the buyers appreciated that, and so I'd like to just kind of hand that over. And we probably will be selling our last stroller here shortly. The last folder is actually mine. It's labeled Patricia, and my husband has a folder too. So under Patricia, I have 2 folders. I have one for things like my previous work experience, a copy of my credentials, some paycheck stubs, PARS and SARS info. If you've ever taught in California, I was both classified and certificated. I've been on different staffs, and so I have that stuff in case I go back to work or I need to just figure out retirement one day, so I have all that there. And then the second folder is personal health info, like records. So my daughters have all their health records in these, and I wanted a place to keep mine. So like I mentioned, we've had different health insurances. We've lived all over California. I like to keep a record of my past physicals and all my numbers, cholesterol and white blood cells and all that. I just want to see over time that I'm aging well. And now I can, because I have info going back to my early 20s and I'm in my mid to late 30s. So it's just a good piece of info. I don't look at it very often, but if a doctor were ever to want to know, it would be hard for that person to find the info because I've moved around so much and went from this doctor to that doctor to that doctor. So I'm doing my part by keeping what I can here. Again, I could scan it or something, but I almost feel like that's as much clutter as this, and this is neat and organized. And until I get a handle on my digital files, I'd rather just do this. So that's it, you guys. 2 folders for my daughters, this for the house files. I will say my husband has a small accordion file that he keeps personal stuff in. He does also collect information from past taxes. So we're gonna figure out, I think we're supposed to keep like 7 years, and we might have actually more than that still. So we're gonna go through that together and maybe just get it all in this one place. Now, we don't mind having a little bit of physical papers here. Not a big deal to us. It's manageable, it's neat, it's streamlined, and we have the space for it. But we are considering getting things to be digital, not so that we can get rid of this, but so that we either have a backup in case of emergency or a file. This is not a firebox or anything like that. So we might actually have to spend some time scanning a few of these things, like the more official documents and some past records and stuff like that, just to have a backup. And if we do feel like it's working and our computers are safe, we could potentially get rid of stuff like this. But honestly, I don't think I ever will. It gives me peace of mind to know that I have it, and then it'll be even better to know that I have access to a backup if necessary. So I feel really good and really proud of myself for being able to manage the amount of papers that can come from running a home with children and know where everything is and keep it neat and orderly. Now, again, the whole idea of going to school brings more files and stuff in that I have not had the pleasure to deal with yet. But when that day comes, if that day comes, I look forward to the challenge, and I would love to share with you how I'm managing school keepsakes and school information. So stay tuned if you're interested to know more about that. My girls are growing rapidly, so eventually they will be in school and I'll have to share something with you then. If you're new here, don't let this be the last time you see me. Click subscribe so you can stick around and catch my future videos. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.